we're gonna get a little serious. We're gonna get a little serious. What do I think about DWade and his son the transitioning or whatever? What do you think about that shit?
Did anything new happen from that story? Because I mean, I heard like when he initially came out and said he was gonna start calling him her or whatever or she, but since then I ain't really hear no new shit about the transition.
I mean, it's just he just been or she just been. I guess. Well, last I really saw when they went, like first when they went to the Pride parade. Then after that, it was like a couple little excerpts on like Instagram I saw. But I don't know. I don't think I know enough about like I haven't heard anything from her really. I think I need to hear like her voice on shit.
How old is this child?
Well, exactly.
Young.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I don't have no problem.
I want to say like 12.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. I don't have no problem with the LGBT, whatever, the ABCs, whatever. I don't have no problem with that shit. But it's like we're talking about a child. We're talking about a child, and there's no reason why they should be talking about their sexuality or none of that shit. You supposed to be, nigga. I was playing video games. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I was playing video games when I was a kid. I'm not worried about. I'm thinking girls got cooties and all that shit. I'm trying to play video games, hang out with the fellas. We having sleepovers, playing Mario Kart, Mario Party, and all types of other shit. Ain't nobody really thinking about no shit like that. I think it's too much. I think it's too much.
I mean, this generation just exposed to way too much more shit though. Like it's almost like sometimes I feel like they don't understand themselves, so they attach themselves to shit.
But that's about parenting though. That's about parenting.
Yeah. I agree.
Who's exposing them to that bullshit?
Do you think if Dwayne Wade was, still just like a nigga in Chicago, he would have like the same views on the shit?
Fuck no, not even a little bit.
Nah,
not even a tiny bit, nigga. Like
you already.
This is a celebrity lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like this. Yeah. That's the shit he on. You know what I mean?
Isn't he in Cali too?
I even was talking about this before. Like the average kid in the typical public school, you're not going to meet a lot of kids, quote unquote, transitioning in any aspect of school. Like but when you go into like these rich area schools where they can afford to transition their child, and obviously you're going to have more conversations and more people who go to these schools. So D-Wade's son may not be the only kid at his school because he's around rich people who can afford to transition their children. But if he was just an average everyday kid and Dwayne Wade was just a regular nigga in Chicago, this wouldn't even be a conversation. You know what I'm saying? This is just because, and the reason why I think it's normal is because there's other people in their circles who have similar views and go through the same shit. But if this was everyday common folk, none of this shit would be going down. You know what I'm saying? So that's
I do agree with you though, because isn't D-Wade's mother? She's like a preacher, isn't she?
She was. At least, if I'm not mistaken, she was. She was.
Yeah.
But nah. So two things. The first thing is the craziest shit I seen or the most recent shit I seen with D-Wade's son, or I'm sorry, D-Wade's child, was Zaire, the oldest one, the Hooper. They was in the backyard and he challenged I want to say ZZ to a backflip, 2 backflips or whatever, and then the nigga ZZ like did backflips and then dropped into a split, like like, and that shit was the wildest shit. That shit was the wildest shit, and that was like the most recent.
But he had the athleticism.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about did cartwheels, and then backflip, and then dropped into a split, and then it was like yeah. But nah. So the only thing I will say, I mean, so growing up in high school, there were a lot of people, there were a lot of and I'll say this shit straight, Blake. The reason I left Laurel High School my freshman year was because it was too many gay people, and I wasn't. I
went to that school.
I know, nigga. That's why I'm saying. Like I legit, it was like too many, and the shit was just so new to me. It was so new for me, and it was way before, like, you know what I'm saying, as a 9th grader walking into that situation. Like normally you see like gay people, but like to see all the different like flags and the pride and all that good stuff. Like at that point in time, that shit was 01, 02. So this, you damn near talking about 20 years ago. And like that shit was like prevalent. If I'm not mistaken, and I think this was like the end all be all for why I transferred out of Laurel. Homecoming, there was a homecoming queen. No, there was either a homecoming queen that was the homecoming queen was a guy.
When the fuck year was that?
My freshman year. I mean, it might not have been. I'm sorry. So you know how it went homecoming queen. I mean, you know how like you got like the king, queen. I mean, the prince, and like
Laurel,
the king, prince, and duchess.
Yeah, I don't remember. I went there. I try to remember.
Nah. I remember that shit. Like I said, I remember that shit. That's why I was out. But that's what I'm saying. So the only reason I brought that up is because we talk about like people with money being able to transition. And then even when I went to Flowers, when I transferred to Flowers, there was a guy, and when we were there at Flowers, he was in the process of transitioning, and he ended up being on America's Next Top Model, and now he is referred to, and now he is an actual woman. So I know Flowers is remotely in a well-off.
That shit right down the street from me too.
It's in a remotely well-off neighborhood, but at the same time, like I think there's a lot of people that in those areas. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that are strictly like, and it might be the celebrity status and being able to truly transition. But growing up, I mean, for me, there was still a lot. I'll just say gay, and I hope that's the correct terminology for it. But there were gay people, and like that just went along with it. But now I guess we got the whole thing where people are actually transitioning and actually, I guess he's transitioning. He hasn't actually fully became a true female as of yet. But yes, man, whatever works. I guess DWade and Gabrielle are embracing them and pushing for and them to enjoy everything that is. So I guess like I've always said, whatever works for them, whatever works for that family, man.
I don't know, man. This shit is wild.
Yeah, but this is my this is my thing though. Like, so I don't know how old this boy is, but you know, if you look at how he was dressing, like Corey was saying, like when we was young, 11 years old, let's say transitioning to preteen, what was we doing? Like we was playing with video games. We wanted to go play basketball, ride bikes, climb trees and shit. This little boy wearing a halter top. He got his stomach out. He got long fingernails. So it's like either way, I feel like as a child, naturally, you're not going to be thinking like that. So someone had to be influencing to influence him to express himself like that. That is not normal mental process of a child to sexualize yourself. There's an adult is influencing you, telling you to do that. Like even little girls, all right, I don't know how they are now, but when we was coming up, girls 13 years old or maybe a little younger, they were still playing with Barbies. They were still into girly shit. Like some girls was wearing like overalls and shit like that. They wasn't like some of the girls still dressed kind of baggy like clothes at 13 years old back in the day. Like now you got like a 9-year-old boy, like with hot pants on and shit. Like what the fuck is this?
I think
somebody
growing up,
me, I see child abuse when I see this shit. That's what I see. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of times what goes on is you have this new age thinking and it's like freedom and express yourself and this, that, and the third. And I feel like that can also be misconstrued to extremes. You see what I'm saying? And I just don't like how it's being put on a child, man, because like how many times you grew up, there was a little girl who used to play football with the boys. She used to she wasn't afraid to get dirty. She was a tomboys, but then
she was a tomboy. That's it.
By the time puberty hit, their body started developing, they get out of that tomboy shit and they be straight.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
True.
They don't embrace none of that shit. So nowadays it was like, oh, she's a tomboy. Maybe she's just really gay and she's afraid to come out. So now you're gonna be ushering a girl to be more masculine just because she's going through a tomboy stage. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like the same shit. It's like people have little shit they go through at little awkward stages when they're a kid and they grow through that shit. But now we're like, oh, look at her way. She's wearing Jordans. Oh, she must be a boy. Let me teach her to be more mad. Like, nah, that shit don't make no fucking sense at all, man. Like we overcomplicate things. Like back in the day, shit used to be like
that equality shit.
By the time she turned 17, you know what I'm saying? She was wearing makeup. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't get it.
Oh, you're right.
The only thing I say, the only thing I say is DWade is known for painting his toenails black.
Yeah.
Come on now.
DWade
Exactly.
been wilding straight up.
Might be a little.
Exactly.
He might.
Exactly.
I mean, there might
I've
be
seen too many posts
there might
about
be something going on.
when he gonna come out.
And remember, when
DWade
y'all
gonna come out.
seen the, I know if y'all seen the documentary or whatever with fucking what's his name with Dennis Rodman. His sister used to dress him up like in girls' clothes.
Yep.
So at a young age, he kind of grew up identifying with female shit. So that's why it was nothing for him when he became an adult to like. I think he even said the only time he was ever told he was pretty was when he or handsome or beautiful or whatever that he was attractive was when he was wearing girls' clothes. So that shit affected him from a psychological. I ain't even trying to make a joke, but like imagine you DWade Wade, super time, super athlete, it's multiple championship. You got your son, your offspring. He expressing your fucking same athletic ability, but he ends it in a split. You know what I mean? Like how would that? Like that's. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like that's kind of that's belittling your essence, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like so I mean.
And they talk about him being one of the elite anyway. So programming is demasculized a man anyway. So I feel like that's like a whole project with that shit too.
Right.
Like,
yeah, man. Yeah, and
like,
even as a I put it like this, right? Let's say DWade Wade, that was his only son. Like, all right, he has his oldest son. I'm assuming his son is heterosexual. Let's say that's his only son, right? I mean, the ZZ or whatever you want to call him, he's not going to have children. So DWade Wade's offspring, his bloodline is stopping. It halts at the oldest son. If the oldest son doesn't reproduce, his bloodline, his last name doesn't carry on. DWade Wade is supporting not carrying on his name. You know what I mean? He's supporting that shit. You know what I'm saying? By supporting that lifestyle within his son. And that's kind of like, isn't it like kind of killing your seed almost? If you really think about it, that's like kind of like, like, I don't know. That's how I look at that shit. That shit just
I don't know if it's really. So I'll just counter. I don't know if it's really killing your seed because, like, at the same time, you still. I mean, like, you just want your child to be happy. Like the same way we talk about fucking Jay-Z's mom coming out, or I mean, we can't talk about Jay-Z's mom coming out and being truly gay, or what I'm saying, like that. I mean. Yeah, I mean, as long as you want that person to be happy, and even still, I mean, we talk about DWade, but at the same time, this shit ain't nothing new. We got Magic's son, EJ. I mean, he's not as flamboyant as flamboyant as ZZ, but EJ is he's on one of those reality shows as like
he is grown up hip hop.
Yeah. But
he was on that.
Bottom line, the child can't be no more than 12, 13, whatever. I don't. Whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's like, come on, this
like you want your child to be happy, but you gotta keep logic and above their emotions. The child will feel what they want to feel.
Because they got. I know you seen it.
The cape for the rest of his like nah. You know.
Marcus,
you're not
Marcus, I know you seen the. They got a couple. They got white folks out here trying to get like little sex changes or whatever for their children that are literally under 10 or whatever the fuck. I know y'all not seen that shit, but it's like, come on. If they're not even old enough to drink a beer.
Understand that shit. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
It's like, come on. If they're not old enough to make regular rational decisions, how are they old enough to make a rational decision, say, oh, I'm gay or some shit like that? It's like, come on, man. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So it's all parenting. It's clear. It's 100% parenting. 10
and 11-year-olds can't even tell you what they did at school like that day. So how does
exactly
like what you want to?
They going to exactly. You
want to be
and like I said, even in as far as happiness, that's some emotional shit. Like at the end of the day, like logic always going to trump emotions. You know what I mean? So it's like yes, it might make them feel good. Sometimes you can tell somebody a lie to make them feel good. That doesn't mean you're doing them a service. You actually doing them more harm. Right. Sometimes telling them something that'll make them feel good, even if you know it's a lie. Like. So sometimes you gotta like fuck how they feel. They gotta know the truth. You know what I mean? Like that, it'll do them a greater service long term to tell them the truth rather than to tell them something to make them feel good. You know?
I think a big part about it, like you said, a big part about it is the environment. You know what I mean? So y'all remember how we talked about open marriages and stuff like that. And so I'm gonna just bring it back because I'm not going to keep talking about that subject, but just think about the environment. You know what I'm saying? That whole culture, and that's the same culture. Like I feel like it's a lot to do with the parenting. It's a lot to do with what's happening around them in that environment. It's a lot to do with people actually giving them that option so young, and that's the thing. Like who knows even who understands why you want to transition your gender at 10 or 11 years old. This is something that's been going on for 2-3 years in that house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That Bama was 9 to 10. He was 9-10 years old. Like how that's the part. That's just the part that I don't understand, because I feel like it is a lot of enabling, and it's a lot of this is a path that you can choose rather than just bringing them up as a kid. Like why do they gotta know about this and that? And I'm just bring up this part too, because Jaden Smith said that he's not male or female. He said that he's non-gender. What the fuck is that?
Yeah,
Like, that's
Jada did that shit.
Gender neutral. He said gender neutral. So and I'm just that goes and refers to the environment that they're in. You know what I'm saying? It's the culture. It's that whole mindset. And how they were brought up, man. Like I
think you said it
Because
right
Will's
though.
kids was going to the same type of school fucking D-Wade's kids is going to. It's like that type of shit. It's like
it's almost like you said enabling
Parents
and
having
then
sex
like
parties.
privilege, like all that shit goes into it. Spoiled, like I feel like it's. I don't want to knock parents these days because not all parents are bad, but like a lot of parents do that. They more of like a friend than a fucking parent to the kid.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So that should be fucking them up. And so I feel like these situations they be like that because you not giving no authority.
Exactly. I was listening to some shit D-Wade was saying, like, he's our leader. Like, we learned from him. He's enlightening us on the lifestyle. I'm like, he don't even know shit. What the fuck is he enlightening you on? The nigga 9 years old. Wait, what you following behind your child for? You're the fucking man of the house. What you got your son telling you what the truth is and shit like that? Like, that's the shit I be talking about. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And my whole thing is like, yo, I was raised like, nigga, if you ain't paid no bills, shut the fuck up. I don't even know what you talking for. Like, it's like that's why I'm like, how do they get all these things? Like I never was brought up like that, yo. Like real talk. It be fucking me up sometimes. I'm like, damn. Got a good life.
They call it progressive. They call it progressiveness. That's what they call it.
But it's not like, I don't see it being progressive. So what are they gonna do after this? That's what I'm saying. It's like they lineage is about to be fucked up. Like what are they gonna be instilling in the next generation though? You know what I'm saying? Like
they're bullshit.
Because just like you said, they don't even know. They don't even know. I feel like it's trendy on some of that shit too.
Yeah. That's what I said. It's either parenting or the agenda. They have an agenda. It's either parenting or the agenda. It's one of two things. I don't think it's parenting with this case.
I feel like it's a popularity thing. You know how girls will mess with girls and shit like high school, college, but at the end of the day, they know they want to be fucking married and have kids and shit. It's just like exactly. I don't want to say
it's
a phase. Yeah. It's like, but that shit just, I guess, happening at a younger age. I don't know, but that shit is like beyond me sometimes.
I mean, I think a lot of this shit is rooted in just the breakdown of the overall family structure in America. I mean, this shit is going on all around the world, but I feel like the breakdown the whole family structure. Think about this, right? Because they'll like put it like this, like as far as this whole gay shit, they'll be like, oh, look at those people kissing and you cringe or be like, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you might see two gay people kissing. They'll be like, oh, you're a bigot. You're not open-minded. All right, let's just say in a perfect world, right, where you have like a man and a woman. You cannot create children without a man and a woman, right? So let's say that man and the woman fell in love and they actually stayed together to raise that child together, right? So that means a child grew up in a household and an environment seeing a man and woman love and show affection to each other. So all of us were born due to heterosexual sex, right? So that means that those people, let's say those same two people who had sex, who and that woman gave birth to you, they stayed together. That means you watched a man and a woman who had sex to have, in order for you to come to this earth, you see them showing affection to each other. So if, let's say you go outside your household and then you see two men kissing, you're like, what the fuck is this shit? You see two women kissing, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is this shit? Because you can't make children with two men. You can't make children with two women. You can only make children with a man and a woman. So if you grow up in a household and those two people, your two biological parents raised you, you're gonna see them. Oh, okay, mom and dad, they were in love. I was born. Oh, look at them showing affection. Oh, look at them kissing. That's normal. It makes sense. I came from that affection between the two of them. Then they go outside their house. They see fucking two men kissing. Of course, that shit gonna look weird, nigga. You see two women kiss. Of course, that don't got nothing.
But
being a fucking bigot, because nobody came to this earth off of gay sex. None of us is here off gay sex. None of us. So you can't put that. That's common sense, nigga. Ain't got nothing to do with like not liking or being ignorant and shit, nigga. That's fucking common sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
And I heard Alex mention that earlier. Like, you know, when he was going to high school, he hadn't seen that shit, so it was like hard to. That's how I was when I first started seeing shit like that too. I'm like, yo, I never like even. Because I never even put myself in those positions. That was never surrounded by me or anything. So that shit was foreign to me. Like, and it's not even like me being ignorant to it. It's just like you said, I was raised different. I saw this. This is the perception that was brought to me. That's what I'm about to carry out, you know, when I have my opportunity. So, no, I feel you. So, man, it's a complex. Shit's fucked up.
I thought that in like high school and shit, I thought that shit was a fad. I was like, them niggas gonna grow out of that shit. Them niggas did not.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was a fad. I was like, oh, I guess y'all think it's popular or some shit.
Yeah,
like,
to go against the grain, to be the rebellious one, and shit like that.
And it wasn't really dudes. It was more so in our school. It was more so girls. It was like lesbians.
It was girls. Yeah.
I was like, okay.
I don't care what you say.
Remember that shit. Remember, like, girls would be gay for a week?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. It was just trendy. It was just, like, real quick. They knew they ain't fuck with it.
Hey.
I remember girls used to wear, like, rainbow belts and shit and for no reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was trendy. And that's the
Jordans.
Thing. But to that point, too, I think it was trendy. I think, and we gotta understand as well, because a lot of dudes encouraged that shit and thought it was cute and thought it was sexy. So a lot of
that is true.
Right,
you're right.
A lot of the females
that's that porn.
A lot of the females to get that attention from males,
music and shit too.
They put that out that they was with girls. You know what I'm saying? Just to get attention.
Now, Paul, you right?
Yeah, so that. I mean, it's trendy, but we talking about that the other half that's still with girls, and then I can't speak on it. I'm just be honest with you. I can't speak on their preference. I can't speak on male preference or female preference. If it works for you, I'm fine with it. But where it affects me is when you 11 years old and you about to transition like that.
Exactly. That makes no sense.
So,
that's all I'm saying. Adult, do what you want to do, but
So the only thing I want to say is that and I totally agree. The only thing I want to say is he hasn't necessarily like fully came out and said that he's actually going to transition into a female. He right now he's in the stage and he's in the crosshair. Like literally, he just wants to be called a female, but he hasn't like gone through any steps or the process to become a female. And once again, I'm not trying to like, you know what I'm saying, like be a supporter either way or the other. I just want to make sure we know that like he hasn't actually fully came out and said like he's actually going to go through the process and become a full-on female. Right now, he's just, I guess.
Not yet.
So where you think
did y'all like pushing it though? But yeah, not yet.
He's still pushing it on.
Where you think he's gonna get this money from? And this is all prospect. This is perspective. This is not, this is actually going to happen. But I feel like the enabling part is going to kick in a year or two or however long it's going to be acceptable in LA for them to go ahead and pay, whatever, 50, 80K to
it's going to be some racks.
So, and that kind of pisses me off too, because I'm like, either way, even 6 years down the line, if he wants it, guess who's going to help him do it? His father.
Dad and mom.
That's what I'm saying.
They got movie money.
Ain't got no insurance.
They got basketball money. Yeah.
What got no insurance? What did the biological mom got to say about that? Like,
she got they got a gag order or something.
That's not Gabriel's son?
Nah. They
No,
only
that's
got
not
one.
Gabriel's son. No, the biological mother can't speak on the matter. They got some sort of agreement where she can't come out and say shit about them.
All right there.
Well, that is questionable, right? That is very questionable right there. Because so that's the baby that DWade and they all had when he had to come out and say that he cheated on her and all that shit. That's him.
Nah. This
That was a different. Like he got a baby that's outside.
He got a whole nother one.
He got a whole nother child outside the relationship.
Yeah, y'all forgot about that.
Yeah, this baby mother is the one that was apparently allegedly like outside of like one of the
allegedly
holding up a sign talking about she was homeless, but DWade was her husband. I mean, I think at the time they might have still been married, but so I just say she had a sign that basically said like my child's father plays for the Miami Heat, but yet I'm out here on the side of the road because he won't give me any money or something like that. And that was like when DWade took the kids to move to Miami, and they was like playing the Heat. I mean, playing the Bulls and shit, and the Carlos Boozer era. Around that time. So
I would like to hear her take because like she doesn't have like outside Hollywood influence and shit. I like to hear her take. But when I first like seen like the initial push for this shit, like when they had their like family photo on the stairs and shit when it was like holiday season. You remember that picture? And Mark, like the child had like a belly shirt on. Like you wouldn't dress your 11-year-old daughter the same way. So why are you trying?
Exactly.
Exactly. Like that. And then
they're sexualizing him. Yeah.
Exactly.
Fast forward to like a couple, recently I think the child had like a birthday and like, dressed up like long blonde hair, like you trying to be a fucking vixen, you trying to be a Kardashian type, you trying, you know what I mean?
Oh my god!
They had this little boy with blonde hair, a young black boy with like we be talking about like look at so and so with their Eurocentric shit, and they got a little dark skinned black boy with long blonde hair on, and niggas are supporting
makeup and shit, and
like that. That is the most anti-black male shit you can imagine.
It's
you know
sad.
What I'm saying? To do to you know what I'm saying? Like that.
That shit is sad.
That shit was fucking wild too. It's wild, like
everything's on on social media. So like it don't feel well. I'll leave it alone. I ain't gonna say it.
Nah, go ahead. It don't feel real. We already in it too.
What message you trying to push if you putting all your personal affairs on the internet like that? Like that's something that big can that can rock a family. Like I don't know how big their extended family is, but like to just post on the internet like that, that's crazy.
And that's the sad thing about social media. People be seeking gratification from fucking strangers they don't even know. Motherfuckers like just all types of shit. That's backwards. Yeah. Like you gotta go internally, man, your circle right there. Like that's where you start and you build from that shit.
Yeah. Like, and that makes it worse because there'd be so many people out here that could be saying some truthful shit about their situation, but because they got so many people saying, "Go ahead, Zaya, you kill it, girl. Girl, you look good." Like then that's not gonna stop. They gonna so many other fucking.
Nope.
But it's so many fucking grown ass adults telling Zaya that they go girl. You know,
and that's enabling too. That's enabling too.
It is enabling.
Fucking dumb.
Yeah. All that
it's
shit.
Silly as shit. Dilly, as I would say. Dilly is dumb and silly.
Like I said, to me that shit is child abuse. Right. That shit is full blown. Because like you were saying, Randall, like nobody. If you had a 9-year-old daughter and you had your daughter dressing like a bad bitch at 9 years old, and you a man walking around with your daughter dressed like a bad bitch, niggas will look at you crazy. And this nigga got his son dressed like that. So I don't know how you can defend this shit. It just look crazy to me.
There's no way.
I think D-Wade's off too, though. I feel like D-Wade off too, for real talk. Like
ain't no way he got like niggas he known from the sandbox still in his. There's no way. There's
no way. Impossible. No, yeah, I agree.